What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to go over all of the electrical. I'm going to show you what I had versus where I moved it, and I'll show you what we're doing and what each wire is going to be running to, stuff like that. So this is going to be a very in-detailed video. So I'll show you what we got going on here. So we had our fuse panel right here behind the dash, and yeah, it wasn't working out. I was not wanting to wire stuff underneath the dash, because I still need to figure out where I'm putting gauges and stuff like that. So it just wasn't ideal for me to be guessing. So this is what we did do. We have moved everything back to this back wall right here. So this wire here is to the fuel pump. So I still got to run the ground, but from the Holley harness, everything is routed over here, and it's getting ran underneath the carpet. So right now what I'm working on is my transmission piece. So this little gray wire right here is your 12 volt ignition brake switch. So I gotta wire that up. That just unlocks the torque converter. The blue wire is my tack. Everything else is running through here. This is ECU power transmission, and then this one right here is 12 volt constant and 12 volt switched. I did loom as much stuff as I could, and you know, this gray wire in here has to come out, so we're just going to cut it short and insulate it. But this is pretty much what I did. Every 8 inches or so, you just electrical tape, keep it all nice and neat, and then you come back in. Whenever you're wiring too, you want to make sure everything is labeled, because it can get very messy very fast. So I don't know what this one is. Oh, fan power. And then this one here is, let's see, yep, 12 volt constant. Oh, that's fan power. Oh, and this is my ECU control. Oh, and this one's our cranking wire. So all of this is being routed through here and being put in back here. So I just have 5 relays. I do have 2 more, which would make 7 in the garage, but I might have to add those in later because I don't really know what else I could hook up to. I only need 5 relays right now: fuel pump, fan, and ECU, and ignition. Other than that, I don't really know what I could be doing. I kind of want to put AC in this thing at some point from like Vintage Air or something, but it's going to be a little bit. But I'm going to get you set up on a tripod, and I'm just going to record me, you know, attaching the wires, getting them routed, stuff like that. And if I have enough time today, we'll hop in the back and start hooking them up to where they go in the back. I still need to run my starter to the kill switch, and then my kill switch to the battery. I'm doing one gauge, 100% pure copper. The whole reason why I'm doing all of this is because I was using 2 gauge and 4 gauge copper clad, and it was not ideal. It was getting hot, and then I started blowing a fuse and it would not crank. The alternator, I put a clamp meter on it, and it was reading like 275 to 300 amps, and my inline fuse is only 150, so it was blowing every time. And now we're going to redo all of that, and it's going to be a lot cleaner than what it was. And I don't want underneath the dash to be like, you know, bird nested. I don't want it to look like a pile of shit. So that's what we're doing. One more thing before I cut it. This whole steering column's coming out. After I get the car running and driving on the street, this is going to go to the shop, and this guy is going to put a new G-body steering column that is telescopic and adjustable up and down for me. So I just got to get all the wiring done and get the car back on the road, and then I will be able to drop it off. So, but once we get the column back, it's going to be floor shifter, so I'm not going to have the shifter in the column, but I am going to have blinkers, hazards, shit like that. So that'll be a whole nother task I have to wire up. So right now we're just doing the basics. We're just doing the basics to get it starting reliably and consistently. So I'm going to keep chopping away at this. I'm going to get a tripod and just set it up, and then I might do a little bit of talking or figure out how to time lapse it. I don't know. But yeah, that's where I'm at so far, and we're just gonna keep moving forward. So I'm gonna cut the video and I'll catch up with you here in just a second. All right, so this is what we got. We're just gonna leave it here for right now, because whenever I wire up the switches to this, we're gonna route it up and back over with this, and I'm gonna loom it all together. So what we've been working on in the meantime is our power cables. That's our fuse panel cable. Yes, they are black, but the cord's red, or the cable's red. I just went ahead and loomed them because I want this whole back wall back here to look very nice. So, you know, we're gonna have one coming straight down and running all the way across into the kill switch. And then we're gonna have one right here, the second one, on the left side. Gonna have that one come down, route over. It's gonna run right past this little stud. It's gonna come straight up, and it's gonna go right into the top. Now this hole right here is our ground. That'll be our ground, but we're gonna run that from there to here. And this is from the power back to the kill switch, which is over here. So you'll have positive cable from the battery coming through this hole into the kill switch. Then you'll have your fuse panel, or you'll have your power wire going to your distribution block. And then from your distribution block, you'll have it jump over to your fuse panel, right? And then also on the kill switch, that's where you put your starter wire. So we're gonna hook our 1 gauge starter wire from here, run it all the way under here under the carpet, come from the side, we're gonna go all the way down, up and through the firewall, and then we're gonna go down and so on. So it's gonna look very nice. I'm gonna see if I can set you up here on this little tripod while I'm working here in the back of the car, and just show you what I'm doing and how I'm running it. So if the tripod doesn't work, I'll just cut it. So, but that's what we're doing. I want to make this look as clean as, you know, clean as possible. I don't want it to look shitty. And as we're going, we're going to wire up a few things here and there, and then we're going to go back and label. Even though it's already hooked up and you can chase it down and route it, you know, that's fine. It'll always be easier to locate which wire is what if you label it. So we're going to figure out a way too to label it and make it look nice, because I don't want just, you know, masking tape on there and Sharpie. So we're going to get to work on that, and I'll catch you in a second. See ya. All right, so unfortunately I could not set up the tripod, and yeah, I'm fucking tucked in here like a baby bird. I got power cables ran to the fuse panel and to the kill switch. I'll show you. Go a little something like this, come down, come up. We're gonna put something right here to keep this secure. It's gonna keep running here. It's gonna come up and tie into the kill switch, and then I got to route that to the kill switch too. So these we're gonna have more grounds than what's on here, so we're gonna figure out where to mount this. And I also have the same bus bar like this, but I have a positive one. So I was gonna do something from here or from here to this guy on the red side, positive side, to have all of my 12 volt constant and cranking wires attached to. It would just be nice to have them all in one place, so I don't have them dispersed on the fuse panel. So, and they'll be protected with the inline fuse coming off the battery, so it'll be fine. But all the fuses here are going to be like for the fuel pump, the lights, the fan, all of that stuff, because these are all tied in. Well, this side's all tied into relays. This side doesn't really have anything. So 20, 15, 15, 15, 15, and this one's free. So, but we do have 2 more spots for a 6 and a 7. And if we do 6 and a 7, I might do something over here. I'm not sure. But that's what we're working with right now. So my plan is in the future, if I do have more relays, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever, and then I'll just throw another bus bar here to connect all my wires to that. So that's how it's going right now. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna go inside and eat some lunch. Pretty hungry. And then we're gonna come back out. We're gonna get our grounds hooked up from the distribution block to the fuse panel, and then from the fuse panel back to the battery, because we can already go ahead and run that. So and then after that, I'll probably put my control wires, my white ones. These are my control wires. This powers the accessory. The white one will go up to the kill switch to where you turn it on. It'll come back here. It'll tell this one to turn on. So that's my fuel pump. So I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can run 5 control wires all the way up to the front to where my switches are. So I'll do that. That's what I'll do in the meantime. I do have some stuff for my dash. I got a push button start coming. I kind of reintegrated that. I moved it. I put my center bezel back on the dash, like where your speedometer is. I got it already cut out. It looks super clean, but my dumb ass broke 2 of the fins on the back of it. It's just a cheap one off Amazon, but it does work. So yeah, I got a new one coming. We're gonna install that one. I'm gonna hook it in to the dash, and then I'll wire everything after I put it in. So what my plan is, and this is plan A. You know, I'll have a B and C by the time I install it, but plan A is to put everything in the dash while it's out of the car, wire everything on the back of the dash, and then route it. Well, I'll put pigtails on it, install the dash, and then I'll drop down from my pigtails and then hook them into the control wires in the back. So I don't want to be under the dash. The less time I'm under the dash, the better it is for me. So if I have a splice in there, I'll just make sure it's a solid connection. It'll be fine. So yeah, that's, one quick tip. Obviously I'm not a wiring expert, but whenever you splice your wires, if you're gonna go back and loom them, you don't wanna splice all your wires at the same spot. You wanna stagger them. That way when you're going back and looming, you don't have just like a fat ass ball of wires in one spot. If you stagger them, it'll keep the line flat and consistent and kind of the same. It'll be a little thicker, you know, because you have to put your shrink on there and heat it down and stuff like that. So it'll be a little thicker, but it'll be this thick compared to this thick whenever you're wrapping it with your loom. So just keep that in mind. Stagger your splices. So just a little tip. But all right, I'm gonna go eat lunch and then we'll pick back up after I stuff my face. So all right, see you. All right, we're back from lunch. Real quick, I wanted to show you how I'm crimping these terminals. I mean, this, you might already even know it's not that difficult to do. So what I did is drove my little happy ass to Harbor Freight and I picked up a hydraulic crimp. So it was like $60, $65, something like that. So yeah, I'm putting my crimps in here, and then, you know, I'm just whacking it down, and then we're going back and heat shrinking them. So I'll get this put on and then I'll show you whenever I use the gun. So I'm doing this to every single one of my connection pieces. So yep. All right, there's what our crimp connection looks like. It's nice and solid, it ain't going nowhere. So you slide this little piece up over this, just like that, all the way up to the top of the lug. You take this little gun right here, and you heat it up. And you just shrink it on there. about it, really. I mean, this cable, this is 4 gauge. So to the fuse panel, it'll be a 4 gauge positive, 4 gauge ground. So, but I mean, this is thick enough to where you can hold the heat on it and it's not gonna fuck it up. So just let her get nice and hot. Just like so. All right, we're done. So that's what, oh, sorry. That's what both connections look like. Crimped, heat shrunk. And then I even do another step on there just to be safe. I'll take electrical tape and go around the terminals back to the cable to ensure that it never moves. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna get these taped up, and then we're gonna go back and we're gonna loom this guy too, just so everything in the back matches. So that's what we're gonna do, and this will go from the distribution block to the fuse panel. So I still have to run a ground to the fuse panel, or I have to run a ground from the battery to the distribution block, and then everything will be tied into that distribution block. So we're running 1 gauge grounds, 1 gauge positives off the battery and the starter, and then everything else is going to be 1 gauge to the distribution block. And then my motor, from my motor grounds from the frame, or from the motor to the frame, they're 2 gauge. So I got 1, 2, 3. I got 3 motor grounds. I got 1 or 2 body to frame grounds, chassis to frame grounds, and then I have 1 from the battery to the frame itself. So everything on the car should have really good grounds. All my grounds that I'm running are going back into the distribution block into that bus bar, so that way everything is grounded, and I'm not self-tapping grounds into the chassis. Me personally, I kind of think that's dumb. I mean, there are situations to where that's, you know, just a quick fix. I understand, but long-term wise, I don't want to do that. So that's what we're doing right now. So I'm going to make 1 more wire from the distribution block to the battery, and we're going to hook this up, and then I'll get back with you after I get it all tied in and ran. So yeah, give me about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe even 30, but it'll be 2 seconds for you. So boom. Okay, so we got all of our main connections hooked up. We have not ran our control wires for our switches up front. That's going to be our next step. But I got the bus bar, the -1 hooked up to the battery. I got it hooked up to the fuse panel. I got the positive hooked up to the kill switch. Well, I have it routed over there. I haven't hooked it up yet. I got the fuse panel wired up. Most of this stuff is wired up. Now I just have to bring all of the controls back up to the front. Tomorrow, which will be Sunday, I am waiting for a inline fuse, like it's a Mega, 2 of them actually. We'll have 2 inline fuses from the battery to the kill switch. There'll be a 250 amp fuse linked into that, and then I lost my train of thought. So actually, we're gonna have to adjust this fuse panel. I'm gonna have to take it out tomorrow, and I'm gonna have to add an inline fuse in this, because this one is gonna get a Mega 150 amp fuse going into the fuse panel. Sorry, that was confusing me. Not a big deal. I'll put that inline fuse in. I don't know. We'll probably hook it right in here, I'd say. So I'll chop this, hook that fuse in. I got my press over here. I'll just press my terminal connections in, slide that fuse in, and then we'll be good to go. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get out of the car. I have to go to the back of the car underneath to where our frame ground is. So it goes from the battery to the frame. I'm hooking up the bus bar to the frame back there that's connected to the battery. So all of that together is going to be tied in and in the same location.
So I'm gonna hop out, climb under the car, and I'll show you what I'm doing after I get it tightened down. And then after that, I'll show you where it's going. And then after that, we're gonna go with our control wires. We're gonna route them up to the front. We'll label them 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5. We'll do all 5 of them, even though we may not use 5. I'll still go ahead and run the wire up there. I'll label every wire, and then we will tape them and loom them off, and then we'll just run them up to the dash, and that'll be it right now. So all of the white wires. Oh shit, we got the popo coming somewhere. I think so. Yeah, we definitely do. Oh, ambulance. Anyways, white wires are gonna be ran. They're gonna come out of here. They're gonna follow this guy, come all the way down to the carpet, and we're gonna run them straight through here, just how these are. And we're gonna go from the edge of the seat all the way up, and I'll probably bring them up and drop them right in here. That way we have enough extra to tie into our dash panel. So, but yep, that's what we're doing. All right, give me like, who knows? All right, I'll see you in a minute. Peace. So this is what the back looks like. We have our ground coming in from the distribution block, coming down into here. And then here's our main battery ground here. This red wire is our fuel pump. We're gonna end up rerouting that and cleaning it up a bit because I don't want it under there exposed like that. But we got it routed here, and this one coming off and coming up. So that cleaned up all this mess down here. It cleaned it up, made it look real nice. These 2 wires here go to the top of the fuel tank. I do not know what this is. I have no idea. So we're gonna have to do some investigating and see, like, look at that ground. We're gonna move that back inside if we end up needing this, but here soon I gotta tap into these wires for the tail lights and my blinkers. We're probably gonna end up switching this out and running our own lights, and eventually I'm gonna end up cutting this and welding it and tucking these bumpers in, so I might have to make like a custom bezel piece. I'm not sure, but yep, because we're gonna get rid of this. You can't even find these parts anymore. It's just dry rotted. So anyways, that's what we're gonna do. And our power is gonna be from here. It's gonna come off probably right here and loop around. It's gonna go back here into this corner, or we'll probably loop it down and come around and then go back up into there. Right there. Our inline fuse is gonna be right here. So, all right, we're gonna call that the video for today. So we'll make that part 1, and we'll do a part 2 on the control wires moving up to the dash. So yeah, that's the end of the video for part 1. I hope you learned something. If you see anything that I did wrong, drop a comment so I can go back in and potentially fix it or look into it or whatever. But all right, thanks for watching. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.